Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Boy, 2025.
It's here.
We always say it, but it's like, where did 2024 go? It went by so fast.
I know, you blink and all of a sudden it happens.
And before you know it, your kids are going to be teenagers.
Can you not say that?
I'm just trying to prepare you.
I know. I want to soak it all up, but it's really hard. It does go by so fast. And then especially the weekends.
Yeah.
Monday, not so fast.
Yeah.
And then you get to Saturday, Sunday, by in the blink of an eye.
It is. It's really, I don't know. I think the older you get, the more time flies. Unfortunately for us. Not that you're older or anything, Susan.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, of
sure.
course.
Yeah, nice save. That was smooth.
We're talking a little bit about travel today. Did you go anywhere for the holidays?
Yeah, we went to my parents in upstate New York for just a couple days right after Christmas. We flew on the 26th, so right after Christmas, flew back on the 30th.
Yeah.
And so it was a super short trip, but it was amazing to get away in totally different climate.
What were the airports like?
Not
too bad?
There are lots and lots of families traveling.
Sure.
Everybody, is pretty understanding around the holidays that there's, going to be some snafus here and there. I do have one funny story. So we had a connection in Charlotte on the way to their house. Everybody got loaded, boarded onto the plane. Everything is there. And then the pilot comes on and goes, "I'm so sorry. We have to get everybody off this plane. They've grounded this plane for the day and we're going to move to a different one, but we're not sure where. So stay by the gate and we'll let you know."
Oh, wow.
So, and fortunately, if you're going to be on a plane that happens.
Yes.
Charlotte's the place to do it. They have lots of different avavel options from the aircraft.
Yeah,
so we were able to get where we were going without much of a delay, but
that's a main hub.
Yeah.
But you're all seated, you're ready to go.
Exactly.
It's kind of like
you know what, the flight attendant was so funny. When we got on the second flight, she goes, "Well, thank you so much for coming to the practice.
Yeah.
Now here's the main event."
Good for the flight attendant.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. So again, we're doing a little a travel segment today. By the way, I drove down to Mexico for
that's
the holiday.
epic.
That's it.
That's so fun though. You got some sun.
I got some sun. The water was frigid, but the swimming pool was very warm.
Okay.
So, but that was my excitement during the holidays, and the rest of it was just doing a lot of eating and spending time with, my family. And
perfect.
So, hey, listen, we're talking to Maddie Bougeray. She is with RVshare. And tell us a little bit about what did you do over the holidays? Did you travel to anywhere exciting, Maddie?
Hi, guys. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I did travel. I actually am often traveling. That's probably why I'm considered a travel expert. I took 7 flights over the holidays, and I don't know if I recommend it. Ooh. It was quite a lot of travel.
Was that for business or pleasure? 7
pleasure, but do we hate ourselves? I don't know.
Did you love the destinations, though, once you were there?
We did, family on both sides, my husband's family and mine. So we kind of always take this roundabout trip tour through the Midwest, and then we went skiing in northern Idaho, which was great. Got to see the snow, and it was very picturesque holiday experience. So that was worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Epic.
Wow.
7 flights though.
That sounds like a lot of money, Maddie.
We do have a Southwest Companion Pass, so we get go and get one, which is awesome. So that definitely helps.
It helped out. So we're talking some of the travel trends for 2025. Let's start there. What do you expect? What are some of the travel trends that are going to happen this year?
Yeah, so travel is really back full swing. I did some reporting over the holidays, and it was a record-breaking holiday season for travel. More than 119 million people traveled over the holiday season, record-breaking amount of flights and people traveling by air. And that's going to continue into the new year. 2025 is going to be a big year for travel. We kind of saw international travel come back full swing after the pandemic the last few years, but we're predicting it's going to be a big year for domestic. A lot of people are interested in traveling by car, maybe RV, but really exploring the US and getting out there. And I think, people are reporting almost 90% of people are saying they want to travel just as much as they did last year, if not more.
You had mentioned something about Spurgecations are going to be big. Explain exactly what Spurgecations are and what are people going to be doing?
So every year, RVshare puts out their 2025 or, the next year's trend report, trying to predict what travel will bring in the new year. And we did find that people are looking to take fewer vacations overall in 2025, but they're designating larger budgets per trip. So definitely quality over quantity. And so decided to call those these Splurgecations. They're looking for something that's maybe a little bit more luxurious and spending more dollars per vacation than they have in the past.
And there is a place where that budget is actually coming from. So they're splurging at maybe the kids' expense. What's going on?
Yeah, I thought this was super interesting. Booking.com identified a trend they're calling ski. And no, they're not talking about the sport within the snow in the mountains. Rather, it is an acronym for Spend the Kids' Inheritance. So there is about nearly half of travelers that they would prefer to spend their inheritance on travel now with their loved ones than receive the inheritance in the future.
Okay, so the kids still get to be a part of it. It's not just mom and dad going out and saying, sorry, Johnny.
That's how I took it. It's like little Johnny's getting not a nickel because I'm going to be traveling all around the world. But that's not the case, though, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it more is like people want to spend quality time with their loved ones now, spend those dollars on trips. I've also heard this around like gifting, like over the holidays, there's different trends that show that people would rather take a vacation than spend a lot on material items and get gifts at Christmas and things like that. So it's along that same vein. We're seeing multi-gen travel up. Multiple people want to travel with, a different generation. You're bringing the grandparents, the grandkids, and maybe renting a big house at the beach. And that's the type of trips people are looking to do in this new year.
That immediately makes me think of Home Alone. Remember that movie?
Everybody loads up and goes.
You had, I think, 15 different people from different generations all flying, overseas. And we know what happened. They left.
Oopsie daisies.
Yeah, left one of the kids at home.
You have grown sons. Mm-hmm. Do you take them on trips, or are family vacations kind of on pause right now?
Kind of on pause. One, my son's in the military, so it's kind of hard to go anywhere with him, but we always like to visit him, or he likes to visit us, either at our house or his house. And then our oldest, his work really kind of ties him down. So it's just me, and you know what? Being empty nesters is not a bad thing. I enjoy my wife, and
you get to jet set.
We get to jet set and go places, and yeah. So,
and if your sons are listening to this podcast, they're going to be like, Dad.
Yeah, I know. Well,
include us next time.
Hey, listen, I'd like to, but you need to work. Okay.
So you're one of the parents who's going to do the ski thing, but leave the kids out of it. You're going to spend the kids' inheritance.
Not because I want to, but it's just, logistically, it's not working out.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. Well, listen, you really painted me into a corner, Susan.
They called me up. They said, can you get my dad to plan a trip?
I know.
I'm working for them.
Maybe a cruise of some sort, like a really nice one, not one of these that go down to
super fun.
They got one of those 3 or 4 day cruises that go down to Mexico. We've done that so many times, but something like a Hawaiian cruise or maybe overseas cruise, something like that.
Amazing. See lots of cool sights.
Sounds pretty expensive too. Maybe we won't. Hey, tell us, Maddie, about something called passion-driven travel. What is that?
Yeah, it's a trend we identified within U.S. travelers, and I think it kind of set the tone this past year with the Taylor Swift Eras tour, where people really traveling for their passion of seeing Taylor Swift in concert. I mean, people reported traveling more than over 500 miles to attend her concert, if not going international. And so that really set the ball in motion for others to travel for their passions. So we're seeing people book travel based on, what they're interested in, whether it's food, history, music. And Expedia.com actually identified this trend a few years back, and they were dubbing it jet setting. And it's planning a trip based on maybe a book, a movie, or TV show destination. So really kind of just finding inspiration in different parts of your life and then planning trips around that.
A couple other ones I hadn't heard of: Nocto Tourism and Nomadic Tourism. What are those?
Yeah, I think Nocto tourism is really cool, especially as I come from the RV travel space. I think it's off the heels of the eclipse that a lot of Americans got to experience last year, as well as those reported like solar flares or, seeing the colors within the night sky. And so people are actually seeking out dark skies and dark sky zones. So the US has over 150 designated spots that are considered dark skies. One of my favorites and the one I always recommend, and it's actually at the top of the list for the US, is Big Bend National Park in Texas. Has the darkest sky in the US, so you can see the Milky Way with your bare eye. Is a perfect place to go camping and just really experience that night sky. And so, over 60% of people reported that they're seeking destination with limited light so that they can experience something like that. So they're really looking for those phenomena when traveling. And again, I think the eclipse maybe set that in motion this past year.
Yeah, that is a big deal with people traveling to see, the astrology. They're like, I don't know, maybe astrology buffs, if you want to call them that.
Well, it kind of just feels magical.
Well, my wife and I flew to San Antonio last year just to get away. We were like, where you want to go? Let's go to San Antonio. So we did. And we didn't know it, but there was an eclipse happening that weekend. So when we walked out of the hotel room, there were so many people with these very expensive, huge cameras and all kinds of gear. And I'm like, well, first of all, when I open up the drapes, I'm like, oh, it looks like it's going to rain today because, it was
getting dark.
It was getting dark. Yeah. And then, but all these people traveled from way up north, like North Dakota and some other places to drive all the way down with their gear just to get the best look at the eclipse.
So fascinating.
And then let me look through it. It was really, they were so excited about it. They wanted to share the equipment.
Beautiful.
So, it was really cool and wasn't expecting that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you need to watch the news a little bit. I think I did some reports on the fact that it was going to happen, Gary.
Well, we had 2 eclipses, I think, last year.
Right.
So I'm talking about the first one.
How about nomadic travel? Is that kind of in the same vein of people just wanting to get out into nature?
Yeah, I think nomadic travel is lending itself a bit more to people really using their flexibility. We've seen that kind of trend build off of COVID when a lot of people had, kind of changed their routines. They had more flexible work schedules, even school schedules at the time. Now people are just reporting to kind of use their flexibility from work and like kind of tacking on working from anywhere or taking a leisure trip and adding a few days for work if that allows in your job. And so that is just a trend that we have been spotting for the last few years and something that has continued as people, look to kind of be nomadic and move around and work and experience different destinations if they can. And it's something that we'll definitely see in this new year.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What is the one place that everybody should put on their bucket list?
One place for bucket list, domestically, I would say Hawaii comes to mind. I actually had rented an RV in Hawaii. I've also done resorts and hotels and stayed in amazing houses there through sites like Vrbo. I think Hawaii, sometimes at least my family who's Midwest or even East Coast think that's such a far way to travel, just pop down to Florida. But there's something special about Hawaii, and I think it's worth the trip if you can make it out there.
And there's so many places in the U.S. Mount Rushmore, I would love to go there. That's a place not many people think about going to. But
that's my mom's bucket list trip.
Yeah,
she would love to go, and we've never quite made it work.
Yeah, it would be so cool to go there. But we have so many things here in the U.S. that you don't have to go overseas to see. great destinations here in the U.S. Hey, before we let you go, tell us a little bit about RV Shares. What do you guys do, and where can people find more information about you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So RVshare is a RV rental website. So we have more than 100,000 RVs that you could rent anywhere in the US, including Hawaii and Alaska. So anything from a cozy camper van to a travel trailer or that quintessential RV that you can load the family in and take an RV road trip. Cool thing about RVshare is you don't have to drive the RV. If that may seem intimidating to you, you can actually get it delivered to your destination. So, pick out one of those national parks, that Mount Rushmore that you just mentioned. One that's on my personal bucket list is Olympic National Park up there in Washington, and get the RV delivered, set up for you, and you can experience the great outdoors within an RV. And it'd be a really fun bucket list trip to add to your list this year.
That is so cool, because those Class A motorhomes, I would love. I mean, I've been inside of them. My friends have them, but I would never try to drive one of those. So that's a great idea. Have it delivered, and then you just
get to enjoy it.
Do your camping there. Hey, what's the website that people can look you up?
Yeah, visit us at rvshare.com.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks so much for joining us from Austin, Texas. We appreciate you. And again, thanks for being on the On Your Side podcast.
Yep, thanks for having me.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can, send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock. And every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.